Well, good morning. Welcome everyone to this second panel. So this is, as Georgia was saying, an opportunity for us to initiate a conversation or to continue a conversation with 5 friends representing 5 very interesting projects that are working to leverage the field for social innovation and solidarity and social and solidarity economy strategies to be scaled up and replicated everywhere in the Mediterranean region. So we've seen in the previous panel that sustainable development and employment are key concerns in our region, where millions of jobs need to be created in order to ensure social inclusion. Up until today, the truth is that more than 90% of the total employment in the region comes from small and medium enterprises. But the truth is that even if they are important to job creation, they still are not contributing enough to sustainable development. This is why the development of a social and solidarity economy in the Mediterranean is so important, because it can not only fuel economic growth, but also generate decent jobs and contribute to the necessary transformations that affect the well-being of our peoples, their human rights, their expectations towards more and better democracy, and the protection of our planet. So as such, this panel will look at the ways in which social experimentation, the practice of civil society with the support of European institutions, can effectively affect policies and legal frameworks. The projects here involve a good number of social innovation initiatives and have identified and promoted practices in the fields of agriculture, waste management, social services, job creation, rural development, and are having an important impact in locations, in marginalized locations, both in Europe and in the southern Mediterranean countries. Yes, the issue of measuring social impact is, as it was mentioned before, one of the key challenges to effectively demonstrate the potential of social and solidarity economy and its contribution to innovation. But there are other challenges that are not only related to the availability of data. So what else do concrete social innovation initiatives need in order to have better support in terms of both policy and funds at national, regional, local level? What needs to be done to unlock this potential in marginalized communities? What needs to happen for social and solidarity economy and for social innovation initiatives to be replicated or transferred to other areas? We've listened to very interesting interventions that address the concern from the policymaker's perspective. But this panel brings the opportunity to listen to first-person accounts of the challenges that practitioners face when trying to develop innovative solutions to often protracted problems. It may help us understand and learn from each other and support each other as part of the necessary effort to influence policy from project experimentation. So allow me, first of all, to introduce this panel by means of an opening intervention that we have requested from our colleague, Antonio Almansa. Antonio is an expert in public law and a municipal controller in Spain, and he's also a member of MUSOL Foundation. It's a Spanish institution devoted to empowering the role of local governments in the promotion of sustainable development. In his day-to-day work as a controller in a local government, he knows better than anyone the radical importance of an enabling legal environment for social and solidarity economy and social innovations to thrive. But also, through years of experience in countries like Jordan or Palestine, he knows that this environment needs to be adapted to local contexts and conditions. So he's being invited today to present us with some preliminary findings from an important comparative legal analysis that MUSOL is conducting under MedTOWN on the regulatory frameworks that affect social experimentation and cooperation between public authorities and social and solidarity economy entities. So Antonio, whenever you want, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Jose. Well, good morning to you all. And first of all, I would like to thank the previous colleagues for the interesting panel and the interesting dialogue they've done. And also, I would like to thank to MedTOWN for giving us the chance to participate in this seminar. As Jose said, my name is Antonio Almansa, and today I want to briefly introduce the report that we're caring about comparison of social and solidarity economy. I would like to say that I'm a civil servant and I'm working as a legal advisor and economic controller on local administration, supervising economic procedures. So I say that because at least we are trying with this report not just to do a theoretical study, but a practical one, exploring possibilities to collaborate with municipalities and social and solidarity economy entities. Therefore, I hope from this report we'll be able to draw conclusions to overcome legal barriers that we can face while executing our projects with administrations. We are okay. As we said, we are doing this report in part of a MedTOWN project, which includes 6 countries in the Mediterranean area. This This report it's focused on legal framework about social and solidarity economic, public procurement, and co-production public policies through the public and private partnerships, and the use of local currencies and electronic money to implement these policies. Well, in every national legal framework, we can find a similar idea or concept about SSE. Even if there's no a unique definition of what is considered SSE, we could define it as the set of economic and business activities based on an alternative organization of production, distribution, and consumption carried out in the private sphere by entities which pursue either collective interests of their membership, general economic and social interests, in accordance with the principle of democracy, equality, solidarity, and collaboration. This is very similar, or this definition is very similar in all the legal frameworks we are studying. Also, the causes. Social economy is an important resource because it tries to reach new solutions for issues, social, economic, or environmental, and satisfies needs which have been inadequately solved by private or public sectors. The players, usually the players in all these countries are similar as well. It's people through the associations, cooperatives, foundations, fair trade networks, non-governmental organizations, but also public administration. And especially I will focus on local administration, as our colleagues has highlighted as well. How to achieve these SSE goals? Well, there are different initiatives to develop SSE policies, but today we are focusing in co-producing social policies by collaborating public and private sector. Well, the legal framework. We must say that the regulation of SSE by the states is a relative recent phenomenon. Mostly it has been developed during last decade. European countries lead this legal framework, and their legal framework is very similar. But also we have said that not all the countries we are studying in this report have a specific law about SSE. For instance, Jordan and Palestine not have a specific law. However, in all countries, there are several regulations related to SSE sectors such as income tax, public procurement, cooperatives, etc. So we can conclude that SSE is a transversal subject with many ramifications connected to other areas of society. This shows the growing importance of SSE in legal frameworks. We also can find in these different national legal frameworks pros and cons very similar. Pros, well, I've highlighted some of the most important pros, as we can always find a statement of intent that protects and governs the rest of the general legal regulatory framework. Specific legislation about SSE SSE has reached sufficient importance in society, which has led to its implementation in national legal framework. They are getting stronger. It contains mandate and inspiring principles for all public sector, all sort of administration, fostering SSE and awareness about it. Those inspiring principles must lead the behavior of public administration working with SSE entities and promote policies in order to apply action. One of the main guiding principles are primacy of people and social purpose over capital, promotion of solidarity and commitment to local development, equal opportunities for men and women, democratic governance, independence from public authorities. We can also, as well, a few cons in the legal framework, and they are usually very similar as well. There is a risk that SS measures will not be implemented in practice, as they require the development of other implementing regulations and by law, by complementary measures. So there is an effectiveness and delicate condition to be developed. There's also a lack of trust on the part of public administration with regard to the actions of private associations and entities in the field of SSE. This weakness is also aggravated by the lack of monitoring and evaluation of SSE social impact by public entities. I would say that also there's insufficient public or private funding. SSE should be, in my opinion, should be a profitable activity and business by its own. It cannot depend on public-private aids. We can also say that there's a lack of capacity or personnel specialized in SSE in public administration. There's no provision to prepare officials focused on the SSE policies. Specialists in public servant in SSE are wanted. Well, talking about the best environment to apply SSE public policies, we can say that there's no doubt about the importance of all public administration as a whole in the development of regions and territories. But as my colleagues have already said, the local level, in my opinion, is even more important. It is the closest to citizens, the closest administration to citizens, and therefore the first one to which citizens demand services. So local administration acquires greater relevance, much more important than other administration, and must play a leading role in SSE policies and actions in the development of territories and regions. In this context, policymakers are paying increasing attention to social and solidarity economy as a means of regeneration and developing local areas by co-producing social public policies with these entities. But although the importance of local administration, we must highlight that there is no specific local regulation for SSE, but national one. There's a big gap between national law and the local one we are demanding. SSE framework is not focused on local level. It is necessary to have SSE legislation focus on local administration, such as ordinance, local rules on SSE, etc. How to apply local SSE policies? Well, according to the different legal frameworks studied, we can highlight two main ways to apply SSE policies. I will say about public procurement and public-private partnership. Public procurement, I would say that this is not my favorite one, but it exists and we can take advantage of it. In public procurement, we can find reserved contracts. I'll explain. There's in public procurement or in public procurement legal legislation in different countries we have studied, we can find there's the possibility of reserving a minimum percentage of contracts for special employment centers of social initiative for the inclusion of workers with disabilities or in a situation of social exclusion. Also, we used to find a percentage of contracts reserved for social, cultural, and health service to certain organizations as NGO, cooperatives, associations, etc. This possibility does not imply the creation of public-private partnerships, PPP, but it's very interesting for participation of social economy entities in public procurement. Well, we can find also social and environmental clauses in public contracts. They are clauses, they are a kind of contract performance condition established by law or by the contracting authority, which is required in order to promote or guarantee social and environmental policy objectives. We can also talk about public concessions. What's a public concession? Well, an administrative concession is the authorization granted or given by a public sector entity to a private initiative or company in order to exploit a good or service and share a price for it. This price will be shared to the public administration or even directly to citizens. We can also find another formulas as preliminary market, consultations, competitive dialogue, etc. About public-private partnerships, well, I would say that classic public-private partnerships is similar to concession. That's about construction and management of assets, usually large infrastructure. I believe this tool, the PPPs for building infrastructure, are a great option for the provision of service and infrastructure development, because it helps to develop them when there's no financial chance to do it for government. But also this type of PPP are the most typical in law. The ones we can find in law about PPP are usually focusing on concessions or large infrastructures project. In our projects to be developed in MedTOWN, this type of PPP are not the ones we are interested in. The aim now is to study regulations governing the possibility of applying other type of public-private partnerships, understanding them as alliances focused on carry on small and medium-sized projects and actions that help to improve the quality of life of citizens and development of regions. I call these types of actions and PPPs as soft impact, in the sense that they are not provoking a sudden collision or radical break with the existing situation, but they do have an impact that it's relevant and endures over time. Well, how can we do it? About public-private partnerships, I will highlight collaboration agreements between public and private sector when they share common goals. To be honest, this is my favorite change. This is my favorite option. Well, local authorities should be autonomous enough to decide how to develop their own competencies, taking advantage of the collaboration with private sector. According to law, we just need common objectives, public and private objectives based on the general interest. This is not a contract where administration pays for service. It's a common agreement by PPP. We can also find grants. Through grants and aids, public administration can decide on which social policies focus on and who are the beneficiaries. These beneficiaries must execute these policies. There is a kind of collaboration, a kind of PPP. Usually, these policies or this grant has an object, the promotion of an activity or public utility or social interest, or the promotion of the promotion of a public purpose. Finally, I will talk about collaborating entities grants. This is a kind of intermediary actor. It helps to justify grants facing to public administration in an easier way by a single audit expenditure. Well, problems we can find to overcome when we are trying to apply SSE policies. As we said before, one of the main problems we can find is that law usually talk about big infrastructure projects and concessions. They are far away from small local projects. We can solve that about doing the small and medium-sized project with specific local regulations, as I talked before, by implementing ordinances or local regulation. Another problem that we can find is the lack of legal competence for local authorities. As I said before, inspiring legal principles, including SSE laws, national laws, justify the competence of the local administration to promote actions and projects. We can also find the continuous public economic supervision of every expenditure that slows down every single step of a project. To solve this, I will suggest to do an economic management directly by SSE entities with just a final justification and a speedy audit. This is related to the collaborative entities I was talking in the previous slide. And finally, there's a lack of trust of the public sector collaboration formulas with the private sector. We must implement public competition, equal opportunities, and transparency. How can we foster production and implementation of social policies? Well, the goal is implementing SSE policies. So the way to do it is by co-producing social policies. One of the best manners is by doing agreements in PPP. And local currency is an interesting tool to implement and facilitate producing social policies related to SSE. In recent decades, different manifestations of social complementary currency have emerged. These are exchange mechanisms that offer an alternative to legal tender, aiming to stimulate trade within a circle. Their use is justified by the definition of money as an agreement or law made by community. It has a big impact in local economy. Leverage the impact as make economy moves and refresh economy and welfare state at home. It also allows disadvantaged people who are often excluded from financial circuit to include in the economic circuit and be able to prosper by themselves. Well, requirements for a better application of local currency. We need the expansion and general acceptation of local currency, not just by user, but also by suppliers. We cannot put entry barriers because it's forbidden by competition regulation against free market. It needs to conserve the value. It requires to keep its value to make it reliable and trustworthy. And it's also necessary to convert into legal currency to make it last over time. We've got some formulas to implement a local currency as bonus for use, discounts, tax reductions, flexible salary retributions, and local business, especially for civil servants. I guess it's a very interesting opportunity. We've got the butchers, virtual currency, and electronic money. We need exchange house to ease the conversion and make it reliable, economic control, etc. Well, right now we are finishing this presentation. I would like to know about your projects, the social innovation aspects and challenge you are facing. I would like to know if your projects are replicable in any other communities. What's your project in progress? Can your projects use any of the tools that we've been talking about as PPP or reserve contracts, public procurements, local currency, grants, etc.? Well, I guess it's not showing the presentation, but it's already finished. I would like to thank you all for your attention, and especially I would like to thank you all for all the projects you are developing to make a better life, better society, and a better world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Antonio. It was indeed very interesting. You put the attention on one aspect. Not only we need policies in place that allow for the development of social and solidarity economy actors within the, let's say, private economy. But the approach to empowering the principles of social and solidarity economy at local level is working towards a framework in which these agents can actively participate from the delivery of social policies, of local policies in an array of different areas. So in that sense, what you would seem to be proposing is to somehow shift the attention from the competition paradigm that regulates or that guides the public authorities' relationship with private sector actors to a logic of collaboration when it comes to private actors with a non-profit nature. So, and you mentioned a number of formulas to do so, being the collaborative, the collaboration agreement, your preferred formula. So I think it's really interesting to see or to expect what your research will lead into, because we, to which degree in each of the 6 countries that you're studying, there are formulas for collaboration between public sector and non-profit actors that allow for the co-production of public policies. Perhaps this is something that we will learn from the study. And you mentioned local currencies, and this connects with the reference in the previous panel about social vouchers. In a way, a local currency is a system that enables or encourages a greater circulation of economic resources within a territory, and this can be enriched by public institutions for a multiplicity of goals. So all of it is very interesting, and I want to thank you for your time, Antonio.